It's a black screen. It's not actually recording anything.
지금 시작할게요.
Oh, it's because I have this on.
We're live. We're live.
We're live on like
Hi.
3.
Oh,
ready? Here we are.
잠깐
There we
고정해요.
are. Okay.
라이브 방송 시작합니다. 네, 라이브 방송 시작했습니다. 준비하는 거.
Stand that up
이거
over here
어디다
like
꽂지?
that.
And none of us are even looking at the screen except me, I think.
여긴가?
Who knows what you're looking at? Your face is all
Well, I have eyes.
covered.
페이스북은 라이브 방송 진행하고
So
있어요.
we're gonna go. We're doing live streaming, but we're not live on.
Oh,
This is a radio station live.
그러면 거기 가면 전화 좀 뽑아주세요.
since you can only see you and me in your live stream there.
Yeah, sorry folks, you guys are cut out of the action.
But every Friday.
There's this crazy masked man next to
I'm
me.
not crazy.
I was gonna say you do look
Totally
a bit. You
sane,
do look a bit
but
axe murderish.
Occasionally, yeah, axe murders someone,
아, 됐다.
and there's a dentist
안
over here
한다.
in the corner.
빼버려 이거.
이거 빼요?
어차피 내 폰밖에 안 하니까.
Your cameras?
Don't forget
배터리가
guys, you're
근데-
listening
근데
every Friday
갈
morning,
때까지-
9:30.
그때까지 있을까요?
9:30.
Korean
뭐가?
time, 8:30.
있을 것 같은데?
Right, this is for a radio
충분해,
station.
충분해.
We're recording
Every
a
Sunday,
segment.
right?
We're
Recording a
live.
whole
됐어.
portion of
눌러봐.
a show. It's more than
Yeah.
just a
됐어요, 지금.
segment.
아 지금 나가고 있어?
네.
나가고 있는 거야?
Part two. We're recording
It's
part two
part two
Part two.
of a show.
of Sunday Talk.
Sunday Talk, yes.
Talking on Sunday.
Wow, very
Sundays,
advertised.
it can be
friendly.
heard in Korea on Sunday morning.
Thank you.
Yes, join us, comment, like us,
Right.
200 people.
love us.
There is a stream if you're overseas and you have no access to GFN.
You
then
can go online and listen online, or you can go.
Right, but you have to get the timing right, which means
If you're in Canada, in like Central Ontario,
North
Eight-
America.
North America,
Yada,
or
yada, yada.
8:30 p.m. You can listen and watch us.
8:30
8:30
comment.
p.m. 8:30 p.m. Not 8:30 a.m.
That's kind of East
No,
Coast
there's
time.
13 hours. No, it's like
13
Ontario.
hours later, right? Back.
Yeah, but Ontario's East Coast time.
I think it's Central.
Not from where I'm from.
East Coast.
Not my Ontario. That's
You're
Eastern Standard
American,
Time.
aren't you?
Yeah, I grew up on Lake Ontario.
Samsung citizen.
That's Eastern Standard Time.
Whatever. It's 13 hours behind Korea.
Very
so
professional, guys.
9:30.
Really professional.
That's it. We're duking it out about the time.
Hey, we're not on the
If
radio
he's
yet.
right-
That's when we become professional.
Yeah, he's
Right.
right. I don't
This
know.
is
what
just
I'm
the
doing.
introduction.
Yeah, we are just so knowledgeable about our stuff. We totally know what we're doing, right?
No, because last time I didn't know we were live, and you could see my son that walked in the camera.
No, I could see everyone walking in front of the camera, and I was like, oh, gee.
Yeah, but I didn't know we were
So
live at
now
that
we have
time.
to
Now
ban the
we're
YouTube
live.
comments because he made an appearance.
Yeah,
Were there any
it's
comments?
starting on the YouTube video. No, we don't.
I wonder if this mic is even listening to me.
Hopefully.
Can you hear me now?
What, are people leaving some comments there?
I'm
no,
not
just
seeing
watching.
comments. Yeah.
And they're just creepily watching
I'll
us
wave and see if
from
anybody
the
waves
safe
back.
distance.
Do you know them?
Yes, the names do look familiar.
Oh,
your
really?
friends?
You don't
Yeah.
say.
So
Family?
here's a friend I've
They
never met
joining
in
some
person, for
software
example.
to
So
go
these are
live?
Facebook friends. So
No, you just need
Say
to
hi
to them.
Facebook
Shout out to
camera.
them.
Hi,
Hi,
Alex
guys.
Walker. Hi, Lynn
Yeah.
Rebar,
There
and
is a kind of place
soon
where I
we
can
can. Oh my God.
download, right? YouTube camera. Yeah. I mean, no, you gotta have a
Do you know
camera
him?
on your computer first.
Who?
I tried, but
Super
not
Green?
Kathleen? Am I
tried.
supposed to?
There's a step you
I
have
thought
to
maybe he was a friend of yours,
Yeah,
Facebook
what kind of
friend, but
steps?
maybe not.
Baby steps.
Write us and tell us how
Under
you
5.
know us. Are you a fan of GFN? Are you
Hey
a fan
guys,
of Peter?
comment and
Yeah, I
see
cannot
if
make
you want
any
me to
cool-
put this red bow in
Oh,
Tim's
if you want to do it on the
hair.
mobile,
No.
That
you gotta
sounds dangerous.
install the
I wouldn't go that
application.
get that close to
Application?
him.
What kind
I
of
was
YouTube
gonna
only
ask you
let
to
you
do
do
it.
that,
You did next
live
time.
streaming on your phone if you have more than 1,000
Does he
subscribers.
carry any?
Weapon?
Yeah.
But how
Axes.
could GFN do that? No, this is not on.
We'll
active
give
mobile,
you
they just
guys
connect it to
a
the,
quick
computer.
look around.
I got it. All right.
Here's
The
what the
computer
rest
is
of the
okay,
studio
right?
looks
Mhm.
like.
Okay.
We
Well, how about
have
Peter?
actual
can
engineers,
go.
PAs.
So, for what?
Yeah,
can
no
do.
privacy whatsoever.
Hey,
It
guys.
shows the entire studio, right? Oh, geez.
Everybody give some love to our PD and our engineers and our writer.
Love, love,
PD,
love, love.
engineers, writers,
Yeah, this
hosts,
is like
guests,
I
commentators.
you know, wear a
We
mask.
have the biggest staff in the entire radio.
We are the
station.
most important show, are we not?
Apparently,
All right, moving on. Let's just talk
Peter, is
about
that
our
you?
topic
you're the most
today.
important host. That's the most important.
If I had
Is it
hair
your
to
YouTube-
toss, I could
YouTube
toss
channel,
it.
right?
It's just my Facebook profile, apparently.
got it.
That
Not
one
YouTube.
So
YouTube, and I believe that one's Facebook, right?
So what I did is, this is an old group from last week, I think, Facebook group that I created for this type of event, and I think we're getting the signal.
We're ready? All right.
Bad
Anyways,
time.
later, I hit delete live, and now we have links. Look around on our group because we have YouTube live streaming, Facebook live streaming, etc. Hit it.
Welcome back. Now it's time for our part 2 where we're discussing media trends. And every week we talk about a different media trend. And as I informed you earlier, we have a live show with Talk and Talk with our lovely guests, gentlemen, Tim, Dennis, and Peter.
Woo.
How you doing?
Good. Trick or treat.
How was
Not
your
yet.
Oh.
Not yet.
I always say next week too.
When
That
I
is
was a
true.
kid, I would start trick or treating as early as possible.
Did anyone
Tim,
actually ever
wake up.
give you candy?
Yeah, it's time.
See, it's my guy.
I got so sleepy because it was so quiet.
Someday
Yeah,
I
it
will
did
take
get
it
a bit
off the
quiet
mask.
there. How are you guys doing? Are you enjoying the cooler weather?
No.
Wait, why?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of cooler, but there's still freaking mosquitoes in my
Yeah,
house.
Oh yeah, the
I'm
mosquitoes
like,
are
why?
afraid of the
Why?
cold. They like it.
Yeah.
They like
I
it.
thought we already ended our
Or they're coming
relationship, but they're
inside.
just come
They're
back.
coming
I'm
They
inside
like,
are
to get
coming
warm.
inside where it's warmer and where
Yeah.
the people are hiding. Now,
uh,
unfortunately, like if you're the one in the family who the mosquitoes love, it's not good for you.
Just
and
like
I
one
am
designated
indeed.
mosquito
Yeah,
lover.
there really is. Like if my
Yeah.
daughter in our
I am.
house,
Yeah, I
there
am.
was
Yeah, me
one in
too.
our bedroom. I could hear it but couldn't
Your
find it.
youngest.
And when I woke up in the morning, she had 7 new bites. I had none and slept like right beside her.
I don't understand
Uh,
why
You-
mosquitoes just
wow,
love
counting
especially
the
kind of some
mosquito bites.
certain
Yeah, they're
person.
huge. She has a mosquito allergy, so like they were like
dang.
massive, all these huge red bumps. We had to go to the hospital for like
Shoulder.
allergy medicine. It was
my
What is?
awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the treatment?
Oh, just like
Cortisone.
she had
Okay.
like a shot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful.
Mm.
Okay, so let's talk about YouTube banning comments on videos of children. That is our topic for today. Now, YouTube says it will switch off all comments on almost all videos featuring under 18, anybody under 18, in an attempt to better protect children and families. Several brands stopped advertising on YouTube after discovering that pedophiles were leaving predatory comments on videos of children. YouTube also originally disabled comments on videos that were attracting predatory and obscene comments, but it will now disable comments on all videos of minors by default. It said that the change would take effect over several months. Have you guys actually heard anything about this before today's show?
Yeah, I searched kind of Korean youth and
Mm.
just they said just under 13, not 18.
Ah,
13, 13, right?
yeah, maybe. The one I read a few different, but the one I
Okay.
read was like anyone considered to be a minor. So
Ah.
let's average it out to be 16. 'Cause I think, you
Do
know,
you believe these people work? I don't
Um,
believe it.
I don't know if it works. I'm hoping it's like you know, tightening of the regulation and then eventually they'll let off a little bit. I was actually really, really shocked to find how many disgusting and nasty comments that like people were leaving on children, like toddlers videos. I didn't think it was a problem. I'm not sure why. I didn't think it was a problem. But
Right. It is gross to see that, but I wouldn't consider that to be part of the problem in the sense of like
Well,
it's
yeah.
not necessarily, what are they calling it? How do you lure?
child luring or child
Yeah,
grooming or
whatever,
something like that.
whatever they were, the reason that it got banned, right?
But I suppose in like a way it's sort of trying to stop sharing of what people would consider to be like child pornography. I mean
Right.
that's not exactly considered luring either, but you don't want other people to be watching. I mean people post weird things.
It's illegal.
Yeah, well yeah. But I mean like have
You're
right,
you
that's
ever
a good
seen
point.
have
It's
you ever
illegal.
seen a video of a baby running around in a diaper? No one should look at that and think not good thought about that. But people post it on the internet, people post it on Facebook, people post it on, their kids in the bathtub. Who here does not have a child bathtub photo?
Wait, I got
I have a whole movie of
Oh.
myself in the bathtub, so
Not sure.
that's not. Don't look for it because it's not anywhere.
But yeah, but think about that. But I mean, now you can get in huge trouble.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, there was a gentleman in Canada who was arrested he found his wife or something he was a grandfather,
Huh?
found an old roll of film,
Huh?
had no idea what was on it.
Right.
He got it developed. The developer saw pictures of a child in the bathtub, even though those pictures were almost 30 years old. He got arrested for child pornography for developing pictures of his child in the
Okay,
bathtub
that
from
just
30
sounds
years
stupid.
ago.
30 years ago.
I mean, obviously the case was dropped because hello, it was 30 years ago. The
But I
pictures
kind of
he didn't know
understand
what was
since it was
on.
from Canada. They like to overreact a lot of things. Well, anyway, get down
Blame
to the
Canada.
Yeah, blame Canada.
Blame Canada. No, I'm not blaming them. I'm just making fun of them. By the way,
But what do you think about today's topic? What do you think about banning comments on children, even let's say under 13, banning comments on
Well,
videos?
I found a very, very funny case. There is a very famous Korean webtoon writer, the Chu Ho-min, right?
Yeah, okay.
He looks like 15 or 13.
no, he
Because
looks
bird,
like 30.
bird hair,
Right.
and very cute.
No, he
And,
looks 30.
Yeah, 30, right? Yeah, he looks 30. He was born in 1981, but the YouTube they banned the comments.
Oh.
Because he looks like through his YouTube channel, he looks like a 13.
Oh, because he looks young.
Yeah,
So
he
they
looks
banned
young.
him.
So now that the Google or YouTube, they are using kind of AI program, right?
Yeah,
so
YouTube
recognition.
algorithm.
Yeah. So
Welcome
it's not
to
perfect
2019.
yet, right?
Oh, nothing is perfect.
Yeah, you're right.
So let me just explain the beginning of this, the disaster, whatever. So, around the beginning of this year, FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, actually charged some fines to the YouTube for violating some privacy laws regarding the minors and juniors in the YouTube platform.
Okay.
And due to that, YouTube started, coming up with this idea of the banning comments and such as banning advertisement on the, videos that are featuring little minor children. So obviously there was some kind of capitalism ideals involved. YouTube just didn't decide, oh no, our dear, streamers are getting harassed by those pedophiles. We must protect them or something. Nah, they just did it because, they had to pay a lot of money for that.
But if you actually read some of the comments that were cited as one of the reasons why they made the ban, they're disgusting.
Yeah, I know, but if I know anything
On
about YouTube,
innocent videos, of kids playing or on the downside, I could say, if you disable all comments on all videos, I mean, there are kids who want to be YouTube stars. There are YouTube stars who aren't over the age of 18 who are famous or popular. There's like a family. I think there are 3 kids. I'm not sure if they're so popular anymore, but basically their whole YouTube is they get toys and the kids open the toys and they play with the toys and then they rate the toys or they tell, parents about, what toys the kids might like better or why they like it. And it's actually really popular with parents when they're looking for birthday suggestions or
Yeah,
and
but there was a separate article that also said that was also comments were being disabled on those.
no, every single video pretty much with a child in it. But my point is the downside would be if kids want to comment on another article or another video, let's say you have an educational, let's say you have a kid who's teaching, let's say, how to speak Korean. A kid starts a YouTube show in Korea teaching Korean to other children. Well, if you have a question or you want to comment or you want that person to show,
I think
you won't be able to.
You can still contact them directly.
Probably
like a private message.
And a private message,
Yeah,
I
because
guess.
what the pedophiles were doing was communicating with each other through the comments, signaling to each other. I think that was what I was getting out of the article. So look it up, folks. But apparently, pedophiles were using comments.
Okay, but here's my another point though. So following the case, about her discussion about their freedom of choices, not able to leaving a comment and thus not able to communicating with YouTube content creators. But by following the logic, they don't have to follow the comment in order to harass these children, the pedophiles as we speak. Because let's say the creators say, okay, if you guys wanna kind of talk to us or have a suggestion for our videos, leave a little message in our email. They can still track down the email if they're watching the video. So what's the point? Seriously.
Well, I'm not a YouTube specialist, but I'm just wondering if there is a kind of a special option to block by kind of creators by themselves, right?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about making or uploading videos on YouTube, so I don't know.
But here's the thing: you cannot specifically target one person and block it.
Right. But I think it becomes a police matter when there's illegal activity happening and they're
Right.
investigating it, and then they can just if they can step in and disrupt it with a policy change. Obviously it doesn't have to be a permanent policy,
Right.
because these kinds of things seem to be they're changing all the time, right?
Mhm.
They could lift that ban any minute.
No, that's true.
Wouldn't even be news. But in the case of I think they're being able to shut down a quick, take a quick step to stop some illegal activity involving
Minors.
pedophilia. Then
Yeah.
right.
Well,
then
you
it's
know,
Right.
each country has a kind of YouTube channel that is main right, majority rights. But the minority is kind of that there. Each country has their own like just YouTube channel, right? Kind of
Right.
DJ or kind of like that.
Mm.
So if just YouTube just even though the blocks and comments, maybe
It might
it's
be
kind of a
shared
big wave.
elsewhere.
Cannot stop.
Right.
Cannot stop anymore.
All right, gentlemen, let's have a song break
Oh,
and we'll
really?
come back and talk more about it. First, let's listen to Bumblebee by Joseph Vincent. It's disturbing. I mean,
So
they're
you
going
folks
to
at home
Bumblebee.
are not
Yeah.
hearing
Bumblebee.
this, but
Bumblebee.
Transformer.
we're listening
They're
to
going
Bumblebee.
to, but they're going to block even
Let's see
like
what this.
short films. Even short films that feature children
Yeah.
are going to block comments on it.
And maybe they're
Oh,
going extreme.
so Lynn is saying, hi Lynn, if you're still listening.
I think
Something
you
tells
know.
me this won't be a kimchi demonstration.
No.
I think
No.
What
I'm
she was
not
thinking.
sure,
Is it she?
right? Because of Belle 30.
Oh, we can
Hi
demonstrate
Belle.
how to make kimchi.
I remember him. He used to live in
Yeah,
Gwangju,
well,
so
they
he
were just
probably
thinking,
was
this
on
is
this
in a
station
Korean
at
radio
some
show,
point,
so
right?
that must be
Probably, yeah.
kimchi, right? So, what kind of radio show actually brings food and
Your
starts
friend
showing
from
food?
US, right, Peter? Your friend from US?
No, they're not friends. They're just
Yes,
watchers.
they're Facebook friends.
The-
Yeah, so
yeah,
I mean,
Facebook friend.
we don't regularly communicate, but
Okay.
sorry if you're watching this. It's like I'm just trying to
Do
find
you
a
want
nice
this, Peter?
spot.
Hey, do you want this?
How about that? Use this. Use this.
How about you some common sense, please?
It's the like.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna
Not
use
my-
that
Maybe
thing?
we can just put this up here.
Good idea.
Oh,
Oh
you're
my
blocking
God.
my face
Yeah, right?
on YouTube. You're blocking my face on YouTube.
Everything according
Sorry,
to the
guys.
TV's play.
That
That's
works.
It's your master plan, eh?
So now we get a little bit of this guy and a little bit of this
this.
girl.
Only
See?
Perry's focus.
Probably move it further back, huh? There we go.
Hey, I don't need to be on your show. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't need
That's
to be shown
okay. It's
too.
okay. There's
I don't need to be shown.
multiple.
Okay.
Are we ready? Are we ready?
So,
Yeah,
so
we're good to go.
Hit it.
Let's roll this
So
show.
maybe YouTube, you block this channel because you look like television.
Are you ready?
exactly.
All right, so let's keep talking about today's topic. Now, do you have any more opinions that you want to add, and do you think that this is taking things too far? I mean, before the song break, Dennis, you did mention that it's like a wave; it's
Yeah.
unstoppable. There are multiple platforms that maybe take content from
You're right.
YouTube legally or illegally and share them, which may not have the same rules. But do you think it's too far, or do you think it should go farther? Or
I think it's too late because just imagine like a basketball game match, right?
Yeah.
There are two teams, right? One team is kind of key channel, one team is kind of the bad comments, kind of like that. And there is a kind of referee, right? And then YouTube channel just it was too late. Just they don't want to block because but the score gap was too high.
Right.
But kind of like that. And I think the big wave is means that kind of a water, big stream of water. If we stop this side, maybe they goes to other way.
right,
So we have to try to purify
Right.
that. Yeah, all right.
Well, I mean, I think what's going too far is eventually that comments are just banned in general from all social media, right? Because really, what are comments all about? You can, if you really want to contact the content makers, you can private message them.
right,
And there's probably other ways to contact the other members of the group that are also interested in it. So the comments are just a way to make this sort of public chat, right?
right.
And I find it entertaining to check comments. I check them a lot, but they can really be distracting from the content also.
I
So
think
I
in
wouldn't miss them
terms
if they
of
went away.
some like within Korea, there were issues about YouTubers in Korea, like kids YouTubers in Korea. That's still happening at the moment.
Yeah.
They were huge negative opinions from I guess public opinion was really
It's kind of negative opinion or
Yeah.
just different opinion.
not just different, but they were like, I mean, because how many of your students or how many kids have you ever talked to in Korea who cite one of the things they want to be when they grow up as like a YouTube star, a YouTuber.
The numbers, they're sadly increasing.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, if you look at the ones they don't tell you about, you don't talk about the ones who didn't make it, the ones who tried and nothing ever came from it. You only hear about the success stories about two brothers or a sister and a brother, or two kids starting their own channel, and all of a sudden they're getting flown from place to place. They're getting interviewed on TV. They're getting endorsement deals from different companies to rate toys or to. I mean, I would say at least two of my kids grew up on that. I think her name's Carrie or something. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
Carrie.
exactly. What does she do? Think about that. What does she do? She made
Play with
a
kids.
lot of money
Yeah.
by not even showing her face.
Yeah.
Her hands opened toys.
Every kid really love. Really love.
Think about that. I mean, the draw of easy money,
Yeah.
which makes it seem like easy money and free things, especially to a kid,
You're right. You're
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
is a
They
huge
can get a
draw.
kind of indirect experience of playing. Yeah, with
Right.
toys.
Wait a second. So how does it connect to the banning comments?
Well, my point is, if you're banning comments, it makes it harder for kids to start their
You're right.
own. But again, like what Peter was saying, it's just as easy to send them a message as opposed to leaving a comment. So really, you're only making things harder for children. You're not actually stopping people who want to do bad from doing bad.
Well, here's my point too. Like I mentioned, it was also, a little business deal when, YouTube is trying to, protect their interests because they had to pay like a multi-million-dollar fine in the beginning of this year because of the
Right.
FTC charging them for violating the laws against, minor protection on media platforms. So
Right.
it is not just simply, YouTube trying to, crusade around and saying, oh, we are trying to protect our, creators. No, it all started as a business. And
Which is
right
fine,
now,
but you can't really separate those two.
I mean,
Like,
that,
there's
that's
no
my
way you
point.
can
That's my
have
point. So
them.
even some people might complain about stuff as a YouTube, as a company, they're always going to try to protect their interests.
Yeah.
We are Facebook down. We are
Therefore, yeah,
Facebook down.
therefore,
Oh, no.
yeah.
Facebook
down. Facebook down. Oh, Facebook down. We need a person. We need a person.
Just when I was making a valid point, this is what happens.
But we're still on the
Apparently.
radio.
At this
Yeah.
time, I mean, different perspective. It's not a perfect right banning kind of like that, right? And I
Right.
just searched it. One of the rising YouTube star of Keith, the TA, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So she left a comment. Okay, my YouTube channel is banned. So I have
Oh.
another channel with the communication. Just
Right.
please come to this.
Right.
So it's nothing that
And
changed, right?
Right.
if all comments went away from all social media,
Yeah.
I don't think people would miss them that much. I don't think the revenue of earners would go down. I think that people would just have to do private messaging more.
Right.
And then the actual content creators would have to say, subscribe and contact me, privately because we don't have comments anymore.
I almost feel though that like private messaging is better than comments because you can make how many bot or spam sort of we're back comments, accounts to make comments, but when you private message, you have to have an actual like signed into an account, right? As opposed to just as
No,
an anonymous user.
It's the same profile, but
I was gonna
I
say,
don't
'cause-
think the problem was pedophiles contacting and messaging the content creators
right.
um,
Well,
directly.
then
They were
can't they share the
using
content
that
anyway
site
without a comment?
to attract children or
Couldn't they just
communicate with each
copy and
other.
paste the link?
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
Any comment doesn't
Google or
really do
YouTube,
much.
they know they cannot ban comments, right?
Right.
And so I mean, really the unique perspective, kind of like that. YouTube, I think they are just trying to just practice kind of the AI system on kind of like this because a few years ago, just the Google Glass it failed, right?
Right.
They are trying to just develop kind of AI system. So they are so smart, right?
Right.
So there is the idea of banning YouTube comments. Maybe there is something.
So in essence, what we're
It is,
agreeing here
a
is
lot of
that banning
feelings of kind of
comments is
Twitter.
useless.
Nah, it's okay.
I think it's great.
I
think it's effective in this sense that they are able to disrupt the pedophiles from communicating with each other using
Right.
that method. But you're right, the pedophiles will be
find
doing
other
something
ways.
else, but that's crime, right? Like crime is always there.
That's
You
true.
can't
Yeah,
necessarily
crime is
just
always
stop it
there.
with
We have
one
laws
tactic.
against thievery, and yet people still steal.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you're right.
But if
Yeah.
they have an easy way where it's like, oh, we can easily break into cars or something, and then you find a way to
yeah,
stop them from doing that because you
make
put a
it
light up
harder.
or cameras or whatever, then that works temporarily. They
I
have a fun-
do like the fact that if you're not all commenting on videos, I don't have to like scroll through 1,000 terrible
Mm.
buy my Ray-Ban sunglasses for $29.99 on a a children's toy
They
or
are quite distracting. Yeah.
they're irritating
Have you ever
to
got,
me.
have you ever guys had kind of experience of getting the bad comment on your YouTube channels or social media?
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't have a
banned
channel.
all
so-
comments on all of my social media.
I had some
Ah,
arguments,
speaking for
but
yourself.
it hurting. It hurting. me.
Really?
Yeah,
This is internet, bro. Somebody gotta say
Oh
really
yeah, but
bad
you
things
have
to
to be
you.
responsible
But a
for
few
what
weeks
you
later, I was
post, right?
okay.
Don't say online what you wouldn't say to someone's face, and be prepared to back it
I mean,
up.
obviously we're not
Gentlemen.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we've run out of
I'll
time.
keep going. That's
It is
okay.
all the time we
Don't
have
care
for
about it.
no, it's all the time we have for Talk and Talk. And I'll see you guys next Sunday. I'll see our listeners and watchers
Yeah,
next
next time.
Friday,
Let's talk about the part 2.
9:30 a.m. for our live stream. But thank
Korea
you for
Standard
coming
Time.
in. Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you
You
guys
too. Thank
next.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Poor Sue's arm is
That's a wrap,
And right
folks.
there.
Okay, bye.
So what happened,
You've been
for
holding
those
it
of you
for
at home
a
still
black
watching,
Yeah, we
we have
Yeah, this
someone
is what
holding
happened.
up
we had
one of our
technical
recorders
difficulties.
by hand.
Yes,
Sukiri
Sue.
one
Okay.
shot.
Uh,